let's return to Nairobi, where the opposition coalition NASA has issued a raft of new demands to the Electoral Commission ahead of the August polls. Now, NASA wants an immediate release of the recent voter register audit conducted by KPMG. The coalition is also calling on IEBC to immediately conduct a mock voter transmission to demonstrate to the country how the system will work in August. NASA further claims that the IEBC had withdrawn the short cord it released yesterday over suspicious flaws. But as Duncan Haimba now reports, the IEBC says NASA's demands are unfounded.
With exactly 5 weeks before the eagerly awaited Tuesday, August 8th general election, and the National Super Alliance says it is not taking anything to chance.
Yes.
In a news conference convened by NASA presidential candidate communication advisor Salim Lon, the opposition is calling upon IEBC to explain why it withdrew the SMS service for voter verification it had issued through code 70000 just yesterday.
For example, the numbers 0, 003, 006 all returned particulars of alleged voters who do not even exist. Even more strange, searching using some ID numbers of dead relatives of NASA Secretariat staff, those who have recently, in the last 2-3 years, perished, showed that some of these numbers now, their numbers, had been assigned to other voters.
NASA claims names of voters who died as early as 2013 were discovered to be still on the register, while other voters had registered using ID numbers that don't exist in the National Database of Registration of Persons.
The Commission has been working for months to clean this register, and in fact, overall, the Commission has been working for years to put out this new information. And yet, within 2 days of releasing the register, it withdrew the SMS service with the short code 7000.
Why can't they just be explaining the anomalies? How come that every time once citizens of this country test their own system that they have voluntary and on their own volition provided, and it comes up with problems, they always pull it down? What are they hiding?
However, IEBC Chief Executive Officer Ezra Chiloba has clarified to KTN News that the verification code is still up and running. The opposition says it has received information that IEBC is planning to split the voter register into 13 geographical regions because the electronic voter identification EVID kits it has acquired have no capacity to carry the entire register of 19.6 million voters.
So they're now dividing the system into 13 regions, some of which actually overlap jurisdictions. It's not understandable. There should be each county having its register deposit and all the IVID kits to be used in that region, so that when people go to vote, you're not worried whether this is from this county and yet you have to look at the names in other counties. It doesn't seem right. There has to be some reason for it which has not been explained.
Chiloba says Section 4 of the Election Act is clear and that certified registers that exist are those of County Voters Register, Constituency Polling Station and Diaspora Voters Register. NASA is also demanding the following: that IEBC releases the KPMG report immediately, that the Commission should use the Integrated Population Registration Service, the IPRS database, and make its findings public, possibly by July 8th. Demand number 3 is that IEBC should state clearly what complementary measures it will be using and that NASA will not accept the use of green books, the black books, and the special register. And finally, that the secretly reinstated ICT Director James Muhati, who had been suspended last month for allegedly interfering in the audit of the register, remains under suspension. And if cleared, the commission should state clearly by who. However, Chiloba says those are purely administrative matters, and after serving his month-long suspension, Muhati is back in office.
NASA therefore demands that a dry run of the electronic voter ID system, EVIT, be conducted as soon as possible.
IEBC says it has already conducted its initial dry run test on the kits, and that the second try will be done in July, and the final one will be done in August before the polls. Duncan Hemba, KTN News.